Liverpool out first. They've looked like a group of players with a real mission tonight, recognising the responsibility on their shoulders. Liverpool, a club where winning trophies is not just a bonus, it's expected of them. But Portsmouth have hung on in there with grit and determination. We haven't been able to show you, or they haven't been able to show us, the quality in the attacking side of their game. But they're still in the picture, it's still 0-0.
Yes, and I think for Jim Smith, he could have gone in at half-time and said to his players, OK, they've had plenty of the ball, but we're still 0-0, lads. Believe you can go and win this.
And that's one to try and catch Bruce Grobbelaar, far from home. All credit to Martin Cool.
Oh, it shows he's thinking, doesn't it? Just looked up, saw Bruce was just outside his 6-yard box and thought, why not? Let's have a pop.
And if there is one goalkeeper prone to go walkabout, Barnes. Nicol wanting to go forward on the left, but Anderton had covered him well, so Liverpool have to try and express themselves again through the centre, and it wasn't on for Mulby. Andy, would you expect any tactical tinkering, to use your own words, just before half-time?
Well, certainly not from Liverpool's point of view. I think Ronnie Moran would be fairly happy the way things have gone. But the one thing for Jim Smith would be, at least certainly in the midfield area, we have to be more competitive. We have to get some tackles in, let the Liverpool players know what we're about, and don't give them as much room to exploit us.
McLaughlin. It was Mark Wright who headed the ball wild, waywardly for Liverpool. Colin Clark was offside. Since the match at Highbury, Portsmouth have lost on Merseyside to Tranmere and beaten Grimsby on Saturday. We did feel it was very important for them to win that one, because they seemed so drained, having been so close to knocking Liverpool out. And they run the risk of being drained here with their efforts to try and get the ball off their First Division opponents. Jones, whose grandfather played in a semi-final replay in 1947 and was a loser. I hope, from his point of view, that's not an omen. Saunders. Rush just easing it on for Thomas. Mulby could have had it as well. Whelan trying to stretch Portsmouth a little more. And Barnes kept it in. And that took a little bit of doing. And then it was a mistake by Nicol. All the Portsmouth fans find an extra note of optimism in their voices when Darren Anderton is invited to stretch forward as he was then.
Yeah, good play from Mark Wright. Saw the danger early and just drifted away from Colin Clark to cover Darren Anderton's run.
Well, I'm sure many of you felt that, well, that Portsmouth played at Highbury, Liverpool would come on too strong in the replay. Although they've controlled the shape of the match, they've had no reward for it as yet. Saunders tries to change that. Ray Daniels stuck at it. And every Portsmouth player within 25 yards of Alan Knight's goal. And the odds were that one of them would be in the right place. It was Burns. Saunders. Now Whelan. Plays for another corner and gets it. It's level on the corner count as well. The main danger in the air is, of course, Mark Wright. Ian Rush right into the goal area. Barnes placing the ball for another corner, and Mulvey comes for the short one. Jones neglected by Portsmouth. Wright with a chance to head it down. Retrieved here by Nicol. Right, Jones setting off. Beresford has covered him. Now Mulvey. Well, you don't need speed when you've got stealth. Owen Barnes. Back to goal. Daniel had to be careful. Oh, and it was drilled by Mulvey with most of the force that right foot can muster.
Well, Mulvey and Barnes again, isn't it, that combine? John Barnes just looking back. You can see what Jan Mulvey tries to do. Tries to bend it in the corner, but just starts it too near the goalkeeper.
Here's Burrows.
It really is a hang in there at the moment, Martin, for Portsmouth.
But again, it's the essence of the FA Cup. But Barnes has them panicking. Saunders sprinting in, couldn't stretch towards it, but has kept on running. Blocked fairly enough by Daniel. Good work by Beresford, excellent play. Portsmouth having to do most of their work under pressure, but they might be able to build here with McLaughlin. And now Neil. They're looking for a smash and grab now. And they have grabbed a corner.
Well, sorry, Mark, that's definitely the shape of the game, isn't it? It's Liverpool, patient, probing, keeping them under pressure. Portsmouth trying to see that pressure off and hoping to catch Liverpool on the break. And which formula will succeed? That's what we wonder at the moment.
Well, opportunities for Portsmouth have been rare, but this is one of them. Beresford to take the corner. Simons peeling away from the near post. Oh, it came off Nicol! And Grobbelaar saved him. Well, that's a thank you for what happened at Highbury when Grobbelaar knocked the ball onto Clark's head and Steve Nicol was on the line. Whelan. Jones trying to take on Cool. And an excellent piece of defending by Andy Orford.
Good position that was that Andy Orford takes here. He knows where the danger is. It's in that near post area. And had he missed it, Ian Rush is coming in on top of it.
And didn't Alan Knight know it? Thomas with the corner this time, an orthodox one. McLaughlin leading the breakout. Neil was tripped by his teammate, and that's wrong-footed, the second division side. And Barnes wanted more than a corner then, you felt. And he's got less than that.
Well, what would have happened, I'm sure, is that when John Barnes picked up the ball, his eyes would have lit up because it was Colin Clark, the last man defending him. But let's give Colin Clark some credit. He didn't have to well to hold up John Barnes.
Beresford aiming for Clark and finding him. Help there from McLaughlin. Now Anderton. This is being put together well by Portsmouth. Warren Neal. The tackle from Burrows. Thomas has played it behind Saunders. The problem is for Portsmouth to find the energy to attack in a collective way when they're having to do so much chasing.
That must always be on their minds when men are looking to get forward and join up with them. One or two of them must just be thinking, hold on a minute, what happens if we lose it? But if you're going to win a game, when you have possession and you've got people who get forward, you've got to get them forward and into the danger area.
Anderton, there's no offside. It's Neal, 3 in the centre for Portsmouth. And it's scooped up by Grobbelaar. And 4 wearing blue are out of the play at the moment because of their efforts to attack. Barnes. Michael Thomas has tried very hard to get in there alongside Ian Rush when Dean Saunders has been out on the flanks. Thomas has twice lost at Villa Park this season. For Liverpool on Saturday and for Arsenal back in August. I'm sure that's a fact that will please Andy Gray and Ron Atkinson. Rush. Now Saunders. Jones trying to dink it in towards Rush. Could you ask for Liverpool to be a bit more direct? Mulby. But playing this way, they must feel that a goal will come. Portsmouth will have ideas of their own. Whelan. Burrows backing off. Barnes dropping off. And Clark trying hard again, but Burrows skipped past him. Rush. And Liverpool quickly on the scene again.
He would have felt that challenge, Alan McLaughlin, wouldn't he? Probably the smallest man in the pitch, and Jan Mulby almost flattens him here.
Yes,
John Barnes tries a little bit something out the ordinary, which is challenge.
It's like walking under a steamroller. Saunders able to get the ball and face the goal. And the flag was up against Rush. 2 Welshmen against 1 here. Saunders and Rush against Kit Symons, who, despite the concern felt by our guest tonight when he challenged in the penalty area, Symons has performed honourably. Rush. Thomas. Anderton again tracking back with Nicol, stopping Liverpool down the left. That's good coordinated defending by Portsmouth again. Mulby. Burrows. Well, the game has really changed from this pattern. Mulby. It wouldn't have counted had it been on target. Ian Rush characteristically was following in case the ball came back off the post or the goalkeeper.
But more like it, when you've got so many men behind the ball as Portsmouth are doing, then Liverpool really do have to look when they've got possession for a few more digs from that range. I'm sure Jan Mulby would have preferred it on his right foot as well.
Burrows. And Rush is offside again. often have we seen this in the FA Cup, the underdog hanging on and still in a position to bite. Liverpool's control will count for nothing.
That's for sure. Goals that win games, isn't it?
If they don't score. Rush. Orford. Andy Orford, who used to go and watch Liverpool when he had the chance from his base in the Midlands. He started in senior football with Worcester City, of course, as a 15-year-old, played in the FA Cup at 15, and learnt by observation from Liverpool's example. Neil, offside against Anderton. Is one of the two Liverpool substitutes tonight, and you can see the other there, Mark Walters, of course, the former Aston Villa player. Oh, Thomas had pulled away and got on the blind side of the entire Portsmouth defence to Barnes' pass, which he couldn't quite rein in. Jones. Nice first touch from Anderton. So give him the luxury of the second. Colin Clark still charging away on his own.
I know that that's a free kick, but just for a second though, it looked as if Michael Thomas was through. Dean Saunders again made a great diagonal run. This time Ray Daniel followed him, and that created a huge space for Michael Thomas to go into, and just a fraction earlier he would have got his foot on that and been real danger.
And after that, Colin Clark was trying to have a touch of the ball in the Liverpool half. He's worked back in his own half often enough. That's been dictated to him. Here he is again now. Here's Wright. Thomas. Here's Mulby. Now Rush. Rush joining Saunders in the centre, and it might deflect his way. It does. Orford patrols him out of the area, and Whelan miskicks. And here's Burns. Here's the furthest forward, but Beresford has made a terrific run here. Is this the moment for Portsmouth? They're pouring into the centre, and the cross, well hit though it was, couldn't pick out a fellow blue shirt. Well, that was just what Portsmouth were hoping for until it came to the final ball. They've got Clark going in here. They've got a corner. And like a sponge, they've been soaking it up. Beresford to take the corner. Having broken away so menacingly a moment ago. Just over Clark, knocked out by Nicol. To Portsmouth.
Now Liverpool's starting to exert some pressure, or be under some pressure, isn't it?
And Barnes kicked out to show that he was feeling the strain. That was what provoked the fury from the Portsmouth fans. They're looking for joy now. Rush with a run here against Orford. And it's a free kick to Portsmouth against Ian Rush, who had his frustrations at Highbury. He was booked for dissent.
I think the referee, though, watch his left arm. There it goes, just goes round Andy Orford's neck. And I think the referee absolutely spot on there.
But what a confrontation it was between the 19-year-old defender and the striker who's seen it all, done it all, scored everywhere he's been, including FA Cup semi-finals. Anderton. Portsmouth have found some energy here. Oh, came behind Clark, nearly to McLaughlin. But as they try and seize their chance, maybe they'll be more vulnerable, more space for Liverpool to use.
It actually might help Liverpool in many respects if they can get Portsmouth to come out a little bit and attack them, because it then will open it up a bit for Liverpool, who've really found it difficult to penetrate Portsmouth. They've got lots of men back behind the ball.
20 minutes gone in the second half. Portsmouth 0, Liverpool 0. For all the endeavours of Dean Saunders and for all the possession that Liverpool have had. Whelan. Nickel. Barnes moving away to try and get free. Rush was able to do that. Saunders push them further away from goal. Burrows. Here's Whelan. Oh, and again it's a tribute to the effort that Portsmouth are putting in. Although Liverpool put the passes together, it's all being played in front of the second division team.
And it is an effort, that's the word used quite rightly, because it is, as I said earlier, in the first half, it really is tiring when you have to defend for long times without the ball. Chase it all the time.
Can they hold out? Mulvey taking it in his stride. And Beresford says no, as Liverpool say, why not? Especially from the bench. And when Mulvey took the ball up then, Beresford looked in dire danger of giving away a penalty.
I didn't think it was. You watch Jan Mulvey, I think he goes looking for it. He goes over from this angle. I know the Liverpool bench looked incensed, Martin, but we've got a great angle where we're sitting up in the gantry here. And my first reaction was it wasn't a penalty.
Rush. Liverpool's bench, renowned for the non-stop conversation, shall we say. And they found plenty to talk about then. Rush with an offside here against Thomas. There's another factor that Ronnie Moran may have to consider. We have referred to Liverpool's injuries so often this season, but a number of the players who have been put out in the starting 11 tonight haven't had too many matches, certainly not matches of this nature where there's such a drain physically and mentally. Out comes Grobbelaar, Burns furthest forward for Portsmouth.
But I think they did show that on the first game when they were down to 10 men in extra time, they did show character, they did show strength, and they did show a desire to keep going. And I think those same things will show through tonight.
That's the way they're brought up to play. Certainly Ronnie Whelan stayed the course splendidly at Highbury, but I wonder whether he might be a player who's not quite moving as freely as he has been at the moment. He's holding off in midfield as Liverpool build with Barnes on the left. Whelan involved now. Mulvey. Rush for Saunders. Well, again, you just wonder if they're looking for the perfect goal.
Well, at times you do. I think we're just looking at the sidelines. The number 5 has gone up, the 5 board has gone up. It does look like Ronnie Whelan is coming off, and I think it's Barry Venison's going to be coming on.
Well, Ronnie Whelan, who twice has scored saving goals in semi-finals for Liverpool. Once he's lost the replay. He goes off now, not knowing the outcome on the second occasion. Barry Venison is the replacement. And he's gone, for the moment, into midfield.
I mean, I suppose in many ways they could actually, if they felt that way inclined, they could push Steve Nicol back into the centre of defence, push Barry Venison or Rob Jones to the left back, and push David Burrows into midfield to give him a bit more power and directness.
Wright's header. And Colin Clark was hurt in that challenge, and he's indicating to the bench that he needs attention. And he'll get it now.
But it looks as if they've got problems, Mark. I see Alan McLaughlin saying no, that's it, he's finished. Oh, that's it. Definitely changing over.
Guy Whittingham is on. Sympathy all around Villa Park for Colin Clark. So the game will restart with a drop ball. Martin Boddenham very quickly appreciating the need to call a halt to the play. And on we go again. Barnes. Knight started to come, realised it wasn't quite his ball. Venison, it's over Saunders. Neil's header goes to Mulvey. Did that hit the referee?
Great stop referee, wasn't it?
Portsmouth for a second playing with 12.
Struck it ever so well.
The way Liverpool have pummeled them, they're entitled to be black and blue. It's a Liverpool free kick. But for all the pummelling, they haven't knocked them over yet. Knocked them out of the FA Cup. Mulvey to take the free kick. This is a difficult moment for Portsmouth. But in the air, they've been strong. Burrows. Whittingham was so anxious to try and close him down then, but his feet got caught in the grass seed in the centre of the pitch. "15 minutes away from extra time." Rush. Now Whittingham held his ground well, made sure that the ball got to Daniel, but he wasn't wanting it played back in there.
Well, he's asking a lot there, wasn't he, from Guy Whittingham? You have to say that certainly in the second half, that Portsmouth have certainly defended well and kept Liverpool at bay quite comfortably, and have grown more and more comfortable at the back as the game has gone on. I used to wonder when the time will come and Portsmouth think, let's wait a minute, we can actually go and win this game.
Mulvey still pulling the strings. And at the end of one of them was Saunders, but alongside him, the very vigilant Kit Symons, who's added to his rising stature again tonight.
Might actually be worth Liverpool's while, just for, say, the last 15 minutes of normal time, if they say to Dean Saunders, go play up front beside Rushy, because they've now got a natural right-sided player in midfield in Barry Venison.
Beresford, and Whittingham stopped by Burrows. Beresford on the scene again, Wright got back. Without ever dominating the play, Portsmouth have also made more attacks in the second half. We scarcely saw them as an attacking force in the first. Another neat interception from Orford. Daniel offside against Whittingham. Whittingham has to live with this label of being the man who bought himself out of the army, or got the club to buy him out of the army. But has scored goals, particularly in the FA Cup. Got 7 in 2 games last season, at the expense of Barnet and Bournemouth. Not quite Liverpool, but he's still a player who could, if given the chance, give us this piece of FA Cup history that is still a possibility. Are we going to witness the very first all-second division final? Not if Liverpool have anything to do with it. Daniel with the throw. Mulby. Now Whittingham. Mulby. Nicol breaking, and this time he's just got a yard on Anderton. Is that going to be costly for Portsmouth? It was Nicol who came forward and earned the free kick at the crucial stage. It's Mulby's shot at Highbury. But for the most part, Darren Anderton has been very vigilant against Nicol, but on that occasion he was just caught watching the ball and not watching the run.
Yeah, he has done well, Darren Anderton, but I'm sure he would rather have imposed himself more on Steve Nicol than he's been able to.
Portsmouth have to have the ball for that, though.
Yes, they do.
But the longer it goes on, well, they've stuck at it, Jim Smith's men.
Well, they've certainly done that. But you're in the semi-final of the FA Cup, you know, the greatest cup competition in the world. You're going to stick at it. You're going to work as hard as you've ever worked in your life to get a result. And if that means, I'm sure for the Portsmouth lads, if it goes down to the wire and goes to penalties, I'm sure all the two teams, they'll quite fancy themselves for that. All the pressure's on Liverpool really to win this game. I think everyone expected that was it. Underdogs get one chance, and if they don't take it, then perhaps then that's all over for them.
Warren Aspinall, who also knows all about Villa Park, he had a spell here.
I think I was here as well.
It wasn't a successful time for the club, Andy, was it? I hate to remind you.
No, it wasn't.
But the two former Villa men, Walters and Aspinall, still wait on the sidelines. And Knight started to come, hesitated, and dare we call it Grobbelaar-like.
Well played, goalkeeper.
Well, Ray Daniel was in danger of giving away a free kick, then felt he was fouled. It is, in fact, a free kick to Liverpool. So the first infringement was blown for. This is Thomas. Oh, it breaks for Portsmouth. Off Jones for Whittingham. Burrows is the last man, and Whittingham tries to speed past him, and David Burrows wasn't going to let that happen. Just for a second it looked as though Whittingham had the acceleration and something spectacular was about to happen.
Well, fresh legs on the park, and didn't David Burrows know that? Look, he's struggling to get back there, but at the end he just forces him wide enough.
But it's a corner to Portsmouth. Orford hoping to deliver it back into the heart of Liverpool while they were still regrouping, could only put it out of play. And what a season of FA Cup upsets this has been. And you start to wonder whether another one could happen. Portsmouth, who know what it's like to be in front against Liverpool, and then also know what it's like to have that joy snatched from them. Burrows. Seven is Neil. And the game still goes on. And it's going Liverpool's way with Saunders. Venison an outlet to the right, but Mulvey painted to go through the middle, knew where he was all along. Here's Nicol. Barnes. Anderton trying to stop him getting round the outside, and he's done that at the cost of a corner. Those who normally stand on the Kop are making their voices heard at Villa Park. Liverpool looking for a goal which could take them to Wembley. And Mark Wright, who still hasn't scored since his move from Derby.
Well, he's almost there. It's an un-Liverpool type corner in the fact that they just knock it into the middle. You see, he makes his presence felt there, Mark Wright, but just doesn't get enough contact on the ball. The one thing you can be sure of in Liverpool, though, they'll not get frustrated. They're not just revert to whacking the ball upfield. They're drummed in the way that if it's going to take 120 minutes, let it take 120 minutes. But don't lose a goal by chasing one foolishly.
Six minutes left. And then, if it stays this way, extra time. That's good work from Cool. Oh, Anderton played into the same area that he galloped into at Arsenal's ground, and Grobbelaar this time came up with a different solution. He was ready for it. Jones. Now Mulvey. Saunders. Daniel's got plenty of speed. Saunders prepared to try and run him. Warford stuck out a foot effectively. McLaughlin hasn't been too effective as an attacking force tonight, but we've had one or two moments from Beresford, and there's another looming. Here's Burns. It just spins away from Barnes to Neil. Cool. Simons. Will it drop for Whittingham? He's taken it well. McLaughlin's there if he rolls it to him, and he's gone outside for Neil. McLaughlin's still there. Beresford is there. Oh, it's against the bar. When it looked as though the ball had gone out, McLaughlin. Liverpool waited momentarily for a whistle that didn't come, and Alan McLaughlin had glory before him then. Daniel, it's out now.
Well, that was quite incredible. It was almost as if the Liverpool players thought the ball had gone out as well. As it comes across here, it's McLaughlin that goes up first, but watch John Beresford here. Doesn't give the ball up. Gets it, I think we'll see here, he keeps it in. Keeps the ball in play just there. Liverpool stop, and Alan McLaughlin almost makes them pay. What a glorious chance for him to have won the game for Portsmouth.
Well, it had Wembley written all over it. So Liverpool, who struck the Portsmouth bar at Highbury through in rush, that was an extra time. Maybe now we'll be feeling fortunate to get to extra time because of McLaughlin's miss, and it has to go down as that. It was golden.
I mean, that must always have been nagging at the back of their minds, honestly, Martin, because they've dominated for so long, and yet there was always a chance they were going to concede. Look at Alan McLaughlin, there he is there, right on the edge of the 6-yard box. Look, they've all given it up. Look at David Burrows standing there with his hand up. Absolutely fatal it could have been.
I think looking at it from both those angles, the whole of the ball didn't cross the line. Anderton. Great tackle again by Burrows. First on the scene is Guy Whittingham. Then Grobbelaar, who wants to throw it quickly. McLaughlin put an arm up to try and stop that. Bruce wasn't best pleased. Jones. Well, you have to hand it to Portsmouth. They've been on the receiving end for so long, but as the game has gone on, they've got stronger and they've got nearer.
Yeah, I'm sure if Jim Smith could have given the perfect tactics talk, Martin, that would have been hold them as long as you can and let's score in the last couple of minutes. And it also nearly came right for them.
Saunders. Broken up by Cool. Oh, Simons got away with it.
To be fair, Martin Cool has played him a ball there that he's got no right to play him. He doesn't know what's behind him. And that was Ian Rush again. He's just lucks there, waiting for any half chance to win the ball back.
Well, I wonder what Malcolm Crosby's thinking of all this. Fancy him saying that he doesn't mind who he meets in the final. We all know what he really thinks.
I think Malcolm being a little bit diplomatic there, and wouldn't you be, Malcolm?
I think he'd have been a bit disappointed that Alan McLaughlin didn't put that one in the back of the net.
I could have swore I seen him jump out his seat there in that studio.
Jones. Now Venison. Portsmouth, who've had this amazing progress against teams that play in red. And even the most superstitious must have feared Liverpool. They certainly fear them now. It's Thomas to Rush. No free kick. Kit Simons, again running close to his immediate opponent, as he did contentiously in the first half.
I don't say there's any intent here, but I mean, it's really got to be a free kick, hasn't it? The striker's got clear and his heels are clipped. Whether it was deliberate or unintentional, it's still a free kick.
McLaughlin. Barnes was trying to hold Neil off the ball. McLaughlin's cross. But it was typical of McLaughlin, as we were saying earlier, he'd hardly been a threat. But he is a player with an eye for an opportunity, and he was in just the right position when he hit the bar. I'm afraid for Portsmouth, it just wasn't the right shot. Saunders. Mike coming out. Thomas! Now, where was the ball? Held by the goalkeeper then.
He could be off, Martin. If he's handled it outside the box.
The linesman was right in line.
I think he's quite right, the linesman. If you watch, Alan Knight gets caught in no man's land, he's thinking, oh, what do I do? And there's the handball. The referee obviously is letting away with it.
Well, he's ruled that Alan Knight didn't know really where he was, and it wasn't an intent to handle outside the area. That's what he's ruled.
Is that the rule?
Well, it's a free kick. It's John Barnes. It's memories of Highbury. First of all, Portsmouth put a player on the post, and then they've thought better of that. This is more central than the one that Barnes put against Alan Knight's left-hand post at Highbury.
I think they're going to try and get Ray Daniel back on the post here. He's just on the right of the wall as we look at it. And it might be that he just backs off just before they take the free kick.
There he goes, and the ball, Barnes again. There was certainly a point Jim Smith was discussing in the week how best to defend against the Barnes free kicks. Mulvey. Jones. Barnes. Is it going to be a drum at the end? Guy Whittingham went in, Barnes fell. And Martin Bodden just play on. At least he's been consistent.
He has been consistent. He's denied them 3 times. I mean, that again, we see it from there. It does look as if he's just been pushed off the ball, John Barnes, doesn't it?
Forwards are notoriously bad in their own penalty area when it comes to those situations. And Whittingham miskicking now as if he was still thinking thoughts of relief that he hadn't given away a last-minute penalty in an FA Cup semi-final replay.
It would have been a brave referee that gave it as well, wouldn't it? I mean, it's amazing when you think he gives a free kick for that. Or does he give a free kick? No, he doesn't.
That's Nicol. Well, the Colin Clark injury extending what's already turning out to be a long night, a late kick-off. We're very close to extra time. We're deep into time that the referee is adding on for the damage to the Portsmouth striker. And we're still no nearer knowing the answer. Burns was pretty calm in the circumstances from right. It wasn't decisive. Burns again. McLaughlin was caught just watching, as if praying that something would unveil itself for Portsmouth. Saunders. Ray Daniel's done well.
Oh, he's played well tonight. Definitely had a great game. Must have known he would be up against an awful lot of pace. And Jim Smith has gambled with him, but he hasn't let him down one little bit.
Nicol. Well, I wonder whether he was trying to head it goalwards.
If he was, it was ambitious.
The second half started in the same vein as the first, with Liverpool in control, but Portsmouth really got to grips with it, and Alan McLaughlin could have won it.